Welcome to the Weaver Podcast, your guide to crafting relationships that thrive. Through insightful dialogues and transformative wisdom, we'll unravel the complexities of communication and connection. Let's weave a world where every relationship is built upon mutual respect, deep understanding, and harmony. I'm your host, SONJA WOOD. I'm a soul-driven mediator and a visionary leader. I am devoted to elevate consciousness and cultivate thriving relationships. My deepest calling is to help all my clients create true, authentic, and extraordinary relationships where they are not only heard and understood, but also deeply respected. Welcome to the Weaver Podcast. I'm your host, SONJA WOOD, and today we're going to talk about the heat of arguments and why reasoning doesn't work in that heat of arguments. Have you ever tried reasoning with your partner in the middle of a heated argument, of a dispute, only to feel like nothing you're saying is getting through? So today we're diving into why this happens. We'll explore the science behind what's going on in the brain during arguments and discuss why trying to reason with someone who is highly emotional often leads to nowhere. So what is the real reasons your words aren't working? It's what we're going to talk about. First, I'm sorry, I need to introduce a little bit of theory about science in the brain and neuroscience, but it's necessary for you to understand the rest of the episode. You need to understand that your brain fire alarm system is called the amygdala and is very active when you are in the middle of an argument. When we feel threatened or highly emotional, a part of the brain called the amygdala, known as our fire alarm, takes completely over. So this tiny little almond shaped in our brain senses every single threat, is screening, even when you're not even conscious about it, it's screening like on a radar and redirects all the energy into self-preservation mode. And what reaction you're going to have depends on your temper, your personality, the environment. If it's fight, flight, or freeze, it depends on a lot of things. But in an argument, especially when emotions run high, the amygdala's job is to detect and protect you from perceived threats. And the same for your partner, even if that threat is just a tough conversation. It doesn't make a difference. So why logical reasoning gets shut down? During this emotional state, our brain deprioritizes the left side of the brain, which is responsible for the logical reasoning, rational thoughts. We're disclaimer here, it's a very simplified way to understand how the brain works. In reality, there's a lot of connection with the nervous system. I'm not going into details here. So the left side is shut down, and the focus is entirely on managing the perceived threat, not on calming, processing words, so the sweet talk you're going to try to have. So when you're trying to reason with your partner, their brain is likely too busy to handle their emotional response to fully absorb what you are saying. And that's why it doesn't work. Now, what is going to be important is to recognize when reasoning will not work. And this is the key skill here to develop. So let's look at the signs that your partner is in the emotional brain. So if your partner is interrupting, raising their voice, or simply not responding logically, it's very clear, it's a strong sign that their emotional brain is full in control. So this is probably not the best time to introduce any logic or any reason into the discussion. Now, it's going to be important to pause. So trying to explain or reason with your partner during these times often makes things worse because their brain is too focused on survival mode, on managing that high emotional state. So instead of calming the situation, it can add to the sense of urgency and frustration, leading to more defensive reaction. Typically, when you say to someone that is upset, there is no need to be upset, calm down, it's good. No, it's not good, of course not. And then what happens most of the time, that person is even more upset because it's facing the reality that they should be calm, but they're not calm. So there is, that triggers a feeling of failure. It triggers frustration and a lot of other things that creates more defensiveness. So we want to avoid that. And timing is going to be key in communication. So understanding when to engage logically and when to pause will help to create a healthier dynamic. So you're more likely to be heard when your partner's amygdala is not sounding the alarm, is not beeping like crazy. And that's going to make things easier for them to receive and process the information very calmly. So here is the first key insight you really need to get today is to practice to recognize when it's important to pause and when your partner is not available to receive what you're saying. It's the first thing to do. But before we go deeper into the topic today, I want to invite you to explore more resources that really can help you to build better communication skills with your partner. In my monthly newsletter, I offer exclusive tools and insights, including a free gift when you subscribe. My couple struggle solver bingo, for example, it's designed to help you and your partner identify the patterns and find practical solutions for smoother, more productive conversations. So subscribe now with the link in the description for insights, your free gift, and start transforming a relationship today. So now back to the episode. You know me, I like to have real things we can use right away, not just concept, not just theory. I want real tools that we can really practice. So I want to provide you a few tools to avoid reasoning in the heat of the moment. The first one is to recognize when to step back. And that's the first step you need to practice before even considering the others, is recognizing when to step back. Instead of pushing forward with logic, recognizing the signs that your partner is in a heightened emotional state is going to be more beneficial. And maybe you're one of those that want to solve the things now because you don't like conflict. You want peace in the house. You want to solve that right away. And you create that sense of urgency where, it's not a bad behavior. Non-behavior is bad in itself. It's just the timing. And you need to practice. Even facing your fear of conflict, you need to practice and the fact to recognize maybe it's not the best moment now to talk about this issue. And that's going to be uncomfortable for a while, for maybe an hour or 2 hours, maybe for a night or a day, where it's going to be triggering you. You're going to have some feeling in the belly. It's unbearable. You want to talk about it. That's not okay. However, recognizing when to step back in this exact moment is going to be highly valuable and very helpful. So you can step back and allow a cooling off period before engaging. It's not when you step back, it's not saying, okay, it's done, we don't talk about it. It's, okay, it's not a good time now, but we are going to talk about it. And even you can phrase it, you can even say, okay, I think right now it's not a good time to talk about this, but we're not done and we talk about it tomorrow, or we talk about it this evening. You can, for yourself, or for if you feel it's something appropriate to say to your partner, you can eventually say it, but you are going to re-engage, just not now. So simply saying, I think we both need a moment to calm down. Let's revisit this in a few minutes or in an hour or tomorrow. Once you feel you master that, step one, which is stepping back, being aware when is a good time to step back, You can practice the second tool, which is validate first and not instruct. And for this, I redirect you to my last podcast episode about the transactional analysis and the parent-child dynamic in a relationship. Because when we instruct our partner, it's what we do. We're parenting. We're doing the parent that is saying to the child, it's not good to do this. This is wrong. We don't want to do this with our partner because we're both adult and we want peaceful, horizontal dynamic adult to adult. So when your partner is emotional, validation can be incredibly calming. Remember what I said, if you have someone upset in front of you and when you try to say, no need to be upset, calm down, it's okay, and that actually makes it worse, then it's because of this, exactly this. It's because we don't want to instruct our partner, we want to validate what they're going through. So acknowledge their feeling with statements like, I can see you're really upset right now. Or I understand this is very frustrating. You're showing understanding and without needing to solve anything right away, giving the emotional brain the time needed to process and to relax. The third step that I want to give you after you went through this is to take a break, take a pause, breathe together if possible, or at least relax your nervous system even for yourself. The first step is really all about the nervous system, dealing with the stress that has been caused by the argument, by the dispute, and relax the nervous system. It's going to be essential for a further discussion. So when tensions are high, we can suggest to, go for a walk or exercise or take a short break, do a breathing session. And either you can do it both together or you can do it for yourself if you decide it's maybe better right now not to be in the same room, because it really helps to reset both of your nervous system. And it's going to allow the amygdala to calm down and re-engage in the logical part of the brain. So remember when I told you that you need to learn when to step back. And I gave you the example that maybe for you it's difficult because you don't like conflict, you don't like having a tension in the house, and you want to solve it as quickly as possible. But recognizing it's not the best time may be a little hard for you if you're in that situation. So it's at this stage is going to be very helpful to manage the emotions that are occurring during that period of time until the next discussion. Because what makes it difficult to step back is that the nervous system is still high, the nervous system is still alert, and the stress is still high, and we don't know what to do. We don't know, with our hands, we don't know what to think, and then, it's the spinning wheel with the hamster inside in our mind. So what we can do is to know ourselves good enough that we know what helps when we're feeling highly stressed to relax our nervous system. Is it drawing? Is it hiking? Is it a very intense workout? Is it running? Is it going out meet friends? Or is it getting a massage? Or is it shaking the body? Whatever is helping you at this time to relax. So it's going to be the third step. And the fourth step is, of course, choosing a better time for discussion and for a logical, more reasoning discussion. Because once the emotions have settled, we can revisit the conversation with our partner. So we can, once your emotion and his emotion have settled, you can revisit the conversation because both of you are in a calmer state. So you're going to be able to approach the topic by acknowledging that tensions were high earlier and that you would like to discuss things in a more constructive way right now because you can and you are available and he's available. So let's end on that today's episode with the benefits really that you can have practicing with different steps and practicing really the different steps for calming before reasoning. Of course, the first thing, it's probably why you're listening to that episode today, it's you're going to have a better chance to be heard and listen. When both partners are calm, the logical part of the brain is more accessible, making it easier for each person, each of you, to understand and process what is being said. So that's a big win. Then it's going to build a foundation for respect and passions, and you cultivate that over time and over the years. So allowing space in the conversation shows actually respect for your partner's emotional process. And it also demonstrates passions, which can make them more receptive to hearing your perspective without feeling threatened or defensive. And lastly, fostering a balance of power dynamic is another benefit, because by choosing to wait and create a calmer space, you avoid taking control of the conversation, remember the transactional analysis, and allow both voices to be heard equally. So this promotes a healthier and more balanced dynamic where communication really thrives. So in the end, learning to step back and avoid reasoning during heightened emotions can really transform the way you communicate with your partner. By giving space to calm down, you're really showing respect for each of you and each other's emotional response. And that fosters understanding and ultimately create a stronger and more balanced relationship. That's all what I wanted to share today. And if today's episode helped you, please consider subscribing to the Weaver podcast for more insights and build better communication with your partner. And if you enjoyed today's episode, a rating or comment would really help me and also help others to find the podcast and join our community. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.